Hey everyone, welcome back to Stay Out of Trouble Tuesday, where we talk about real-world criminal defense stories, lessons, and tips to help you avoid trouble and understand the justice system just a little bit better. My name is William Pernik. I'm a criminal defense attorney, and I'm the founder of the Pernik Law Firm and also the creator of the three-step Pernik Law Method that we've been talking about on this show and also our sister podcast, Counselor, Beyond Conventional Defense. Hope you guys like what you're about to hear. Please subscribe, please support our mission, and definitely check out the content on the Counselor Show, because there we're going to take all of the knowledge that we've been sharing on this YouTube channel, and we're going to show you how my attorneys and I apply it in our daily practice in order to get incredible results for our clients and change lots and lots of lives. And so today I've got a fascinating real life story for you that really highlights why you should never give up on your case, and more importantly, never give up on yourself. So let me tell you about a case that we had recently. Our client was a really hardworking guy who suffered a legitimate injury at work. Like many people who suffer workplace injuries, he filed a claim for insurance benefits, which on its surface seemed completely reasonable. However, as time went on, our client kept reporting symptoms that just didn't add up, because he kept repeating that he was feeling really sick, that he couldn't work. He continued to obtain benefits and ended up filing a civil claim in order to collect greater compensation as a result of trauma that he had sustained. As litigation proceeded, he became evaluated by multiple doctors and medical experts, and all of them uniformly agreed his symptoms just did not add up. The symptoms he described, in the opinion of these independent medical experts, just weren't physically possible, at least not from the injury that everybody agreed he legitimately sustained. Now, just so you know, we do a lot of fraud cases here at the firm. And in California, insurance fraud, and specifically workers' comp fraud, happens when someone knowingly makes a false claim or exaggerates their injuries in order to get benefits that they otherwise would not be entitled to. It is a felony, and the law is really strict about it. Even if you had a real injury, if you lie, or if you misrepresent the symptoms that you have in order to keep obtaining benefits or to obtain greater benefits, you can and most likely will be charged with fraud. The district attorney's offices through California are very motivated and very well funded to prosecute insurance fraud. They benefit from collaboration with state agencies that supply investigators. They can have an investigator following you for hours or days, videotaping you, documenting how you're engaging in all of these activities that you're supposedly not able to engage in, considering the injuries that you have claimed. And so by the time these cases get filed, it's oftentimes very, very difficult to fight them in light of overwhelming physical evidence. So oftentimes it's a settlement game where we're trying to get a person out of trouble with the least amount of damage possible. And that's exactly what happened here. Not only did our client lose the civil case for his benefits, but he was also charged criminally with felony insurance fraud. And that's a really big deal, you guys, because it can mean prison time, permanent criminal record, and a lifetime of consequences as a convicted felon. Now, most law firms would have thrown in the towel at this point. Maybe try to negotiate a plea deal, try to avoid jail time, if possible, and move on. But something about this case really just didn't sit right with me. This client, this gentleman, he genuinely believed that he was sick. He wasn't faking it for the money. He was truly convinced, heart and soul, that he really was suffering. I could tell it from the way he acted when he would come into my office. I could tell it by how withdrawn he was when he discussed this case or was supposed to engage with us but wouldn't. I could tell how he was when he would come in for his appointments with his significant others. It was obvious to me that this person felt real about the extent of hurt they were experiencing. So because of that, I really wanted to take a step back and understand what happened here. And so I started looking at this case as a puzzle. If the physical evidence didn't match, I thought, there must be another explanation. And so after a lot of research, arguments with my own team, and consultations with mental health experts, we discovered something called a somatic disorder. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with it, a somatic disorder is a mental health condition where a person experiences physical symptoms like pain or weakness, or in this gentleman's case, extreme amount of fatigue, and these conditions cannot be fully explained by a real medical condition. But the symptoms feel very real to this person, even though doctors can't find a physical cause. This is not faking or malingering. It's a psychological condition, and it can be influenced by many things, including cultural factors, especially after a real injury or a traumatic event like what happened to our client. Now, this was exactly the breakthrough that we needed. With the help of really awesome mental health professionals, we were able to present this new evidence to the court. And that's when we turned to something that we talk a lot about on the show and recorded a separate video for, and that's called mental health diversion in California. Now, mental health diversion is the law in California, Penal Code Section 1001.35 and 1001.36, and it allows certain people charged with crimes to get treatment, mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, instead of going through the regular criminal process. That's why it's called diversion. You're being diverted away from a conventional criminal prosecution and placed into a court-supervised treatment-based alternative instead. To qualify for mental health diversion, you need to have a diagnosis with a mental health disorder that played a significant role in an alleged offense. And the court also has to find that you're not a danger to your community and would benefit from treatment and wouldn't pose unreasonable risk if you're allowed to participate in treatment on an outpatient basis. Then, if you successfully complete the treatment program, your entire criminal case, all of your charges can be dismissed, and because there is no finding of guilt, there is no criminal liability that attaches, you avoid a conviction, you avoid probation, and most importantly, you avoid jail. So, our client entered this amazing mental health treatment program, and as a result received tremendous amount of treatment and support. And after he completed the program, his entire case was dismissed. No conviction, no jail, a fresh start. If you think about what it means for a person whose claims were submitted to medical experts who uniformly agreed that this is completely impossible and is a complete and total rubbish or BS, you have to appreciate that that was really extraordinary. To a lawyer, this outcome really stands out. But more significantly, on top of it, our client was really suffering, and nobody in the world except for his spouse and now our team would believe him. This really affected his family. This drove him into depression and made his life extraordinarily challenging for him. But as a result of us refusing to give up our search for answers and ultimately uncovering the true culprit behind his condition, he was now able to successfully address it in treatment, not only getting his criminal case dismissed, but also changing his life. I wanted to share this story with you guys because it really shows something that I learned as a young lawyer from a friend of mine, an older friend of mine who was a mentor when I was just starting out almost 15, 20 years ago as a public defender. And that is that any case can be won and any case can be lost. There are no hopeless cases, only hopeless lawyers or lazy, defeatist, or hopeless thinking. So if you look hard enough, if you keep fighting, there's almost always a solution out there. It might be frustrating, it might take a long time, but giving up on yourself or on your case is never the answer. So if you or someone you know is facing trouble, please remember, never, ever, ever lose hope. Never, ever, ever settle for someone who does. Thank you for watching Stay Out of Trouble Tuesday. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, join our community of fans, please subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have questions or if you want to hear more stories like this. I know a lot of our videos tend to be more academic and educational, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit after taking some time off this summer, and I wanted to come back and start sharing some stories, some success stories, so you can see real-world examples of how this can play out in a courtroom near you. So, thank you again for watching. Stay safe, be smart, stay out of trouble.